Hello, I hope that we are live, and I hope you can hear me because I've had a little bit of trouble with the audio on this system right now, and I'm not sure why. So, hello, I'm Leslie Peziak. Thank you for joining me. I am the founder of Inspiring Creative Insight, and I am really excited about tonight's topic because it's all about gratitude. And so, before I get started, I want to recap a little bit, like normal, that I over the past few days before. And last Tuesday, we talked a lot about sleeping patterns and building that, creating a sleeping pattern so that we can get better rest. And part of what I left out is the length of time that our body should be resting and sleep levels that we get to, REM, for instance. Those are really key. And if you are really struggling with this in your life, if you're only getting, say, an hour or two, and then you're waking up in another 45 minutes, if you're really having a lot of trouble at night sleeping, or that your legs are kind of shaky, or just anything, that if you're not getting at least 4 to 5 hours at a time in a length, and you need more than that, truly, but if you can't sleep more than 4 to 5 hours, I highly suggest that you really talk to your physician about it. I know that when I was struggling sleeping, um, I went through some tests and um, really found out, excuse me, um, that I wasn't sleeping well because I was also carrying stress in my body. And sometimes you'll notice that, and like I'll notice I'll be pulling my shoulders forward, or I'll feel some like the tension in my back, and a lot of my stress comes in my jaw, and so I'll shift it when I'm nervous or uptight, and it's part of just being just that emotional security, the emotional stability, just self assurance. It's just part of the whole system in our bodies that makes just to make us calm down, be more self aware. If we're not paying attention to what's going on in our minds and sleeping, it starts to show up within our bodies. And for quite some time, I didn't do that. So I really, it's really essential that we start paying attention to what's going on physically, and then we can address it mentally. A lot of what happens within our bodies happens mentally, and one of the first telltale signs is not sleeping. If you're not getting enough rest, there's something emotionally or emotionally that isn't being addressed, and that's why you're not getting that rest. And then it's going to start showing up in your body. So I really do highly recommend looking into that because you're so worth it. And you only have one life to live, and you only have one body. So I don't know if you've downloaded this, but this is part of the PDF that I listed about creating balance in your body, or creating balance, mind, body, and soul. And tonight I want to talk about gratitude. And I'm probably going to address gratitude a lot differently than other people address gratitude, just because we're all different. I look at gratitude probably much different than other people do, but it's important to me, and so I'm going to share it with you. So let's get started. So gratitude most often is something that we feel within ourselves, or sometimes just in our own within our own lives. When we do gratitude journaling, it's usually something that we are grateful for within our own lives. Like, I'm grateful I have my home. I'm grateful that I have this great food. I'm grateful for my children. It's usually things that's in our lives, which is the way it should be. Things, and then, but there's got to be like a little bit to go a little deeper than that. If we started to look at gratitude for things, um, to help us start looking at areas in our lives. Ooh, I'm grateful I noticed this. So, ooh, I am so grateful for my beautiful grass. Oh, let's see. So if we had, so that doesn't work. Well, yeah, I'm really grateful that my yard grew really well. There's one area in particular in your bushes or something, and you noticed that it would have been an infection, and it would have totally taken out the landscape in your yard. I mean, I'm just really making this up, but you caught it. Now, even though it was something that just really irritated you, you caught it and you fixed it. So being grateful for that inconvenience coming into your life is pretty much what I'm trying to get at. So, an example, I an example that I had lately, I had to send a copy of my driver's license to help a family member with some paperwork and some financial things. And when I found out is that the driver's license had expired. Oh, Leslie, thank you so much. I received it. I'm sorry I can't use this. Why? Because it's expired. I was livid because it's something that we've been working on for a really long time, for quite a few weeks. And finally, we had the answers, and we had a person that could take care of this matter for us, and we couldn't do it. It was on a Friday. We couldn't get it taken care of because my driver's license was expired. I was livid. And my attitude was very poor. Actually, it sucked. And I just wanted to crawl through the phone and choke the guy. But it wasn't his fault. It was just, I was so frustrated with everything that we were running into that I had to, when it was all over with, and I went the next day, I remember the next week and a couple of weeks ago, and I went ahead and took care of getting my new driver's license, my driver's license renewed. But the whole point is that I found gratitude. If I would have found that gratitude in the moment, oh my gosh, thank you so much for letting me know. Pretty much our dispositions where we are at the time, and really is very important for us to look at, to not only be grateful for the things that are really going well, but also the things that aren't going so well that brought in to our attention something that we were overlooking that could have possibly been obviously more of a detriment than it was. I got the driver's license taken care of on Monday, and everything's fine. But so not only does that happen in things like, it also had like my experience that I had. Gratitude comes with the easier things and the things that we're really grateful for, and that are just there for us, and we really appreciate it. And then also being grateful for those struggles, being grateful for a relationship that we had that ended, and instead of looking at and being angry and regretting the fact that you were even in it, be grateful for the things that you learned from it. Just like I learned from my experience, I need to put that on my calendar or become more aware of this happening. So I went ahead and put that in my calendar. So these gratitude is huge, and when we start noticing it more and more, and we start creating gratitude journals. Actually, gratitude journals are becoming really popular because not only helps us appreciate and look at who we are and respect us, and have more gratitude for who we are, because a lot of, like right now, people are stressed out, they're anxious, they don't have enough time in their day, they're running here, running there. I mean, they're going crazy, and it gives us a time to calm down, really look at the things that are really important to us and the things that we are really truly valuing. And also, that's probably a lot of reasons why gratitude, and just to remind us to become more aware of the things in our lives that are going well. But also, if you're going to do this gratitude journal, I am going to challenge you to try try put a little twist on it. And what I mean by that is just start looking around in your environment. Look at the lives of others. What are you grateful for? What are you noticing um, in the lives of others around you? And put those things in your journal. What are you noticing in your family, with your family members? You know, do you notice some struggles happening with them? What are they accomplishing? You know, what are you seeing them overcome? What what you know, just anything. I mean, obviously we're going to notice the good, and we're going to notice if they're struggling or not. And and not only in our families, but we can do this in our communities, we can do this in our workplace, and we can do this with things that are going on around the world, and really start journaling this, especially if you're into politics. I mean, if there's something that you found politically, that you that is, you know, that you're grateful that happened, wow, put it down, because whatever it is, just write it down. I'm really grateful that this occurred, or you know, and as long as it's not a judgment, um, and it doesn't involve your ego, the gratitude cannot involve anything to do with your ego. It has to truly be um, heartfelt. So that's the challenge. What's going on in your environment, in your community, in your family, in your workplace, and around the world that you are grateful for, good events and those challenges that you're noticing. But when you talk to yourself about it, it has to have no ego involved, no self. It has to have nothing to do with you and everything to do with that event. That's kind of tough. It's kind of tough, but I'm sure that everybody can do it. Look at the accomplishments that you see happening around. What are people accomplishing? Um, what are they struggling with? Are you seeing somebody struggling, like little babies? For instance, if you're seeing your niece or nephew, or your child or whatever, struggling to walk or struggling to crawl, and then they get it, you're so excited for them. Your ego has nothing to do with it. You're so excited they accomplished this. If you're watching your teenager study, and they pass, they're trying to learn something, and ooh, they finally got it. That's great. But that's about another person, for another person. It has nothing to do with our egos at all. So often life gets busy. We get so busy, and we forget to notice others and their contributions that they have in our lives, and that we have in their lives. And truly, we really do make a difference. We're all in this together, and when somebody does something that you don't like, it points out something that you know, you learn something about yourself. And when somebody does something and you say, "Ooh, I like that," or you agree with it, I mean, it starts to form who we are as people. And really paying attention to what goes on around us really lets us know and identify more closely our sense of self. I think a lot of people are saying, "Who am I? Why am I here? What is this about?" And this is really a good way to really start looking at um, yourself in a lot of different perspectives. That's pretty, you know, most of all of these live videos that I'm doing is truly to help people answer that question. Well, who am I? Why am I here? What is my purpose on earth? And a lot of people have no idea how to answer that question. They think that they're just this body that just came here and it's going to die one day and that's it. But it's just not the case. And we're here, you know, that we're not a human having a soulful experience in religion or spirituality or whatever your belief system is in a higher power. We're actually souls in this human body having a human experience with others whether it's no matter what belief system you have, spiritual, religious, whatever it is, we're all in this together. We all came from the same place. We're all going back to the same place, and it's just we're going to take different roads. We can be religious, we can be Catholic, we can be LDS, we can be Lutheran, we can be Baptist, we can be whatever religion, and participate in that. And that's our road that gets us to where we need to go. That's our safest vehicle. Or we can be spiritual, and spiritual is religion. I mean, there's a huge misconception about all that right now. There's religion, and then there's the woo-woo spirituality, and that people are talking about, and then there's faith. And just having that faith is really important too. And I know I've gotten a little bit off topic here, but that's kind of where all this is going to end up. Probably by the end of the year, I think it's going to be really fun to look at that within ourselves and in our lives, and to answer that question: who am I, and why am I here? What is my contribution? And this all really does help. I mean, having gratitude is one of the things, because not only are we noticing who we are, what we're about, so we can answer that question: who am I and why am I here? Well, you're here to co-create with everybody else and learn what you like and what you don't like, and to find your life purpose and to serve your life purpose. So it works really well, whether you're religious or whatever your faith base is. We all have a really great purpose to be here. And I know I'm on a tangent, so let's go back. So, like I said, so often our lives get really busy, and we become oblivious to others. We kind of just become like oblivious to everybody around us at times, because there's so many responsibilities that we have, and we do have such a huge impact on each other's lives, and others have such an impact on our lives, and sometimes we're just not paying attention to others or ourselves, and sometimes those interactions can just really kind of collide in a negative. Much of today, I think people are misunderstood, and there's so many misconceptions because their lives seem to be colliding and bickering over things that really don't need to be argued about. There's really no reason to have this argument, because it was just a total misunderstanding, and we think that person would have known, and that person thinks that we would have known, and it just gets to be too much. So what I'm trying to get at is the people in your environment, not just in your home, but like I said, in your communities, in your workplace, in your around the world, in your community, your faith-based organizations, wherever you are, even in your grocery store, at the gas station, no matter where you are, be really just in the moment, really look around at what's happening, and even the smallest gestures, and go a really long way, and thank somebody. Thank you so much for this. Thank you so much. Thank people. Just thank them, and really let them know, and be really truly honest about your gratitude for whatever they did. I was on a phone call with a lady today, and I was so happy. I spoke to her probably a month ago on some of the things I'm helping a family member wrap up and or take care of. And when I called her today, she was so excited to hear from me. She said, "Leslie, I've had this paper sitting here on my desk for a month. I'm waiting for you to call. I'm so glad you did." She in the meantime, she had even gathered more information for me. This woman went out of her way, above and beyond, because I had been so thankful to her, and I expressed my gratitude. And if even though we do express our gratitude, sometimes, it doesn't always work that people are going to go above and beyond, but it's about us going above and beyond by being grateful for even if somebody's doing their job, just be grateful and tell them you're grateful. You don't know if they're not feeling appreciated in their lives, and when we don't feel appreciated, we start to get negative, and I mean, it just starts to spiral down. But if you just showed somebody you could change their day by merely being grateful for whatever they're doing, whether it's going out of their way or doing what they're supposed to do. Thank you so much. Another thing you can do is, I noticed you were putting in a lot of time on this project. Oh, I noticed you were putting in a lot of time on your yard work. And they'll just go off and just tell you all kinds of stories. Just sit and listen. Listen. Just listen to people, because truly that's what we want. Even if you don't have time to say, oh, I noticed you're putting in a lot of time and effort into your yard work. How's that going? That's it. That's it. You can even, there's also simple little gestures. Even just saying, not just being grateful for what they're doing, but even showing, gratitude goes, what if somebody's struggling? What if you know that there's somebody in your office, a coworker, a family member, a neighbor or something? What if they were really struggling? And most people look at them as energy drainers or whatever. There's a new clicky word, I can't even think of it right now. It's probably best, but gosh, some people are just really struggling, and it just seems like, I mean, we don't know what's going on in their life, but when we struggle with our own things and things just start to pile up, and it can get really really huge. But to show gratitude for even the simplest thing to somebody that's struggling does wonders, because you shifted their mindset off of their problems onto something positive. That's really big. Even for a brief second, you pulled them out of a difficult, spiraling situation, and you stopped it for that minute. How great is that? Just by asking them, hey, how you doing? Or thank you so much. I noticed this. Thanks. If it's the janitor in your office, if it's no matter what it is, your mail person that delivers your mail, the person, whoever it is, just acknowledge them. If you know somebody's struggling, find something good about them. This works even really great if you know somebody's struggling and you're at odds with them. Find something positive and appreciate it. Show gratitude. Just show gratitude for whoever they are, whatever they're doing, and it works. It works amazing. It's empowering. It truly is empowering to be grateful for and to find the good in another person when they're struggling or when they're not. It's just paying attention to your surroundings, being completely aware of what's going on around you. I am grateful I noticed this good thing. I am great. I noticed. I'm really. Then you can also be grateful to yourself. I am so grateful that I was paying enough attention to the janitor at work, and he was really struggling. And I know that by telling him how much I appreciate his efforts, really made his day. That's really great. Gratitude is huge. and writing down that stuff, and it kind of changes your disposition. It changes our dispositions as well too, because not only are you looking at the good things in other people, or trying building somebody up, and you're not saying you're not, I don't. You're just adding something positive. You're looking for the good in the world. It changes your whole disposition. Instead of looking at all the shitty things that go on, you're going to start noticing more of the good things. You're going to start noticing more of the things that you should appreciate. Little, the little irritation things that drive you nuts, they're going to start to fall away. And you're really going to start paying attention to truly what matters. And what matters is all of us. If you're pissed off about something, and you're going, you had an argument with somebody in your household, or something didn't work out, you leave your house and you're pissed off, and you're driving down the road and somebody cuts you off, you're going to be mad as hell, and it's just going to be road rage, right? It's going to be ugly. But if you get really upset about something and you get into your car and you start driving to work, and somebody does something, just find gratitude in your forgiveness. Find gratitude in your patience. Have empathy that this person, you don't know what's going on with them. You don't know. But it certainly isn't a competition, because you don't know them. And it's not really about them. It's about what's going on in us. And be grateful that you noticed that shift in your own behavior. It'll make things so much easier. It makes life so much easier. We will react less. We will be calmer. There's so much value in it, in that gratitude, in the contribution that it has in other people's lives. I know that some people might, it's like, she's all over the place with this conversation. That if you really listen to, if you're a little confused, please email me, because I'm more than happy to explain it. But what I'm trying to really get at is, be grateful for not only what's going on in your life, within yourself and your surroundings, and for the good and the challenges, the good and the learning experiences, the easy and the more difficult things. That start looking around in our environment, in your environment, and be grateful for all of these things that are happening in your life, all of these little nuances that are coming into your life, that are making your life easier, making your life better. Find gratitude for those things, and be grateful for noticing them. If gratitude has to come from within, be grateful that you would notice somebody else's stuff, that notice somebody else's actions, or somebody else's struggle, and you acknowledge that. You thank them for their effort. You acknowledge their struggle, and acknowledge the fact that they were really working on that. And in return, it's got to feel good. It's got to feel good inside to say, it wasn't about me. And it had nothing to do with your ego. Nothing. It was all about someone else. And in giving to another person, it came back to you at the same time. And both people are happy. And you're not angry at that person in the morning for the road rage experience, because you're grateful for your own patience. You're grateful, and you show gratitude that it didn't get any further, that it didn't go any further. You just be grateful. That's all. Write these things down, and I know that this was might have been a little off, but it's just really important that we start looking at our surroundings and why we're here, and really start appreciating each other. So anyway, I know that I want to just say thank you and for being here today, and that was really nice. It was a really great experience for me. I hope that things go really well over your weekend. If there's any questions, please feel free to send me an email, and I will be more than happy to address it. Have a great evening, and I will see you on Tuesday. Good night.